Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's another beautiful Saturday. You're welcome to a fresh episode of E.R.The Hangout with Wale. And today I have a very special guest, um, Michigan, United States. I have E.R.The Maker in the building. Shortly, he's going to be joining me for another beautiful edition. Shout out, bro.
Stop.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Big chilling. Just waking up, but
Yeah,
how are you
I
doing?
can see that, bro. Yeah, how's everything going, man?
It's going good, man. I'm just working on another project right now and looking to release that. Other than that, pretty good. What about you?
Wow, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. So on a quick one, bro. Who is E.R.The Maker? I want you to introduce yourself properly.
Yep. So, E.R.The Maker is nothing but a kid that was born and raised, obviously, in the state of Michigan, and we live over here in the U.S. And I just grew up playing basketball, man, and living life. And I think once I realized my basketball career was over because I started getting in trouble in high school, I really started focusing on music. You know what I mean? I think I've known you since I've been about 19, so it's been it's been about 8 years since I've known.
So let's say you started off playing basketball, and so how did music start for you?
Yeah, yep. So I did pretty well in high school, and then I got in trouble and I got sent away to Utah for a couple of years, and then when I came back, I actually had the opportunity to play at like a smaller like Division III college, but I just, I totally messed that up, man. So I think that a lot of time in hip hop culture, sports and hip hop themselves, they always intertwine, whether people believe that or
Yeah.
not. So even like with the warm up songs and all that kind of stuff. And you see like Dame Lillard, great NBA player, he raps. Ron Artest even made music. Kobe Bryant made music. Shaq made music. You know what I'm saying? 2 Chainz wants to play in the NBA. You see Quavo from the Migos. He plays a lot of basketball. So I think those two things are really, intertwined, man.
Wow. So why when you started, do you have like a role model or something?
Yeah, yep. So I record in a pretty nice studio now. I'm really fortunate that I met the engineer that I did, linked up with him a couple of weeks ago because I've been living in Detroit for the past year or so. But when I first started out, I had I just had this like little microphone, you know what I'm saying, on my desk, and then like a computer. Wasn't like a really complex setup, you know what I'm saying? It's where a lot of people
Okay.
start.
So what's your creative process? How do you come up with your song? How do you make your music? Do you
Um,
make the beats, or you listen to the beats, or you buy your beats? What's the creative process like?
sometimes I make the beats, sometimes I don't. There's a song called Martin Shkreli on my YouTube. I think it's got like 20,000 views, and I made the beat on that one. But the latest one I did,
Okay.
which is solo, I did not make the beat. So
Okay, I
that
think that's your latest project.
yep, that was the latest one that I released.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I see that.
Yep,
I think it has over 50,000 views on YouTube, and it's doing pretty well.
yeah, it's pumping up. I'm excited, man, because it's gonna definitely help
So,
me go into my next release.
so when did you record your first music? like doing your first music? When was that? Can you remember that year?
Yeah, so I was probably 16 at the time. This was like
Okay.
before I actually had like music equipment. I was in high school. They had like these little like, like chat room. Like back when there was like chat rooms, like you'd go on the internet and you'd go on these chat rooms and you'd be able to talk to people. It was just like a little skinny like mic, like a pencil, probably like $20. And they had this software. It was the most ghettoest bootleg thing that I've ever done in my life. And, I would record on that and it would sound absolutely horrible. But it was the feeling that when I make music, the way that it made me feel, I'm like, oh, this is dope. And this is terrible, but
Yeah.
this.
But let's say, so you still have that song,
You said what?
the project. Do you still have it? I mean, your first project, the first song you ever recorded.
Do I see the growth from my first project? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the first project, do you still have it? I mean, your first recording ever.
I mean, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Then-
Like, why?
so now let's dig into your discography now. Like, how many projects do you have so far? Let's talk
Um,
about EPs, albums, or singles.
just mainly singles. Like, I know that I've released more music, like, in my catalog as far as it goes for, like, Spotify and Apple Music and, like, digital distribution. But,
Okay.
I started making music before they even had all that stuff. We had it back when we had to press on CDs and we had to sell them to people. You know what I mean? And that was
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
liked
yeah.
for the first 5 years doing music. But I think I have, let's see, I have Robin Williams. I probably have about maybe 15 singles, with great videos that are doing decent on YouTube. So,
So let's say if you're not doing music now, what would you be doing?
I still work, man. You gotta have a job. I think that's one of the most
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Most people don't realize that being in the music industry, you have to spend a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to be in this game.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I do work a 9 to 5. I work from home, work in customer service for Apple, believe it or not. So that's what I'm doing when I'm not making music, focused on anything like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's say you're not doing music at all. Do you consider yourself, being a professional basketballer or something?
Yeah,
Probably be doing more basketball or something.
yeah. I mean, I can still play, man. I just went and played pickup with my buddy that I used to play with in high school and stuff like that, and I still got it a little bit. But I mean, I'm not saying maybe like the NBA, but maybe like overseas, like some international basketball. Definitely something that's possible. But it would still require a lot of work, though. But
Sure, sure.
but I mean, if I could do it, yeah, absolutely. Even if it only paid $35,000 a year, I'd run it.
So let's say, are you signed to a label or you just an independent artist?
Just independent, right? I have my own independent label that I release under. The reason I do that is because of liability, right? Let's say, for example, if I come across the beat and I like it so much, and you know what I mean, and there's no, let's say if I lease it, right? When you lease a beat, you're only
Yeah,
allowed to get so many sales of it or get so many views and streams with it before you have to pay again for the lease or try to buy a bigger lease. Now, what can happen is, let's say if you go to start pumping a song and it really takes off and it goes past your lease and it violates your lease, you can get taken to court for that. So that's why you want
yeah,
to have
sure.
an LLC and have a record label so that if somebody gets in trouble, that entity does, and it doesn't affect my personal life, right? You want to separate your business from your personal life because you don't want to lose your car, you don't want to lose your home, all that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, independent.
Yeah. So has it been like being an independent artist? Would you rather be signed to like Sony or Jive Records or
Uh,
Island Records or something? Which do you prefer? Do you prefer being an independent artist
no, I mean,
or
I do want to eventually
or
be.
fully signed to a label?
I do eventually want to be signed, but I think the most important thing before you jump into just getting a record deal, because a lot of the
Okay.
record deals in and out are called 360 deals or multiple rights deals, and the way that works is they put everything up for you up front, but they want it all back. Versus if you
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, so versus if you go independent, Dave, for like 5 or 6 years and really try to build a solid fan base on your own and start bringing in income on your own, then when you go to the label meeting, then you're going to have more leverage so that way they're not, taking everything on the back end. And you're going to get more so that way that you can really actually eat off your music and you're not just slaving to some label. But a lot of people would just sign contracts, and that's not a good idea.
You don't believe in signing contracts, like.
I mean, I'm not totally. It has to make sense for the artist.
Sure, definitely.
Like Chief Keef had a really big buzz, with the I always remember him as a great example. He had a really big buzz off that song that I don't like, whatever, right? And so he built a crazy fan base off of that. Then he got with a record label, and then that really took him, to the next level, to really, 10x his brand or 20x his brand. Because if you're an independent artist and you're bringing in $10,000, the reason you get with a label is because they're a machine. So then you'd have them take you from $100,000 a year to $1,000,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Because 50% of $1,000,000 is better than 100% 100,000. So
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. So during this process, have you been able to work with A-list artists? I'm in collaboration right now. Have you been able to work with a lot of people? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the coolest collaborations that I've ever been a part of. One, this was like maybe when I was 23 or 24. A buddy of mine got a verse from Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I got to hop on that.
Okay.
But as far as collaborations in my catalog, the only ones I have that are decent, known artists. Two of them were signed by Tech Nine, and one of them still is. One is Joey Cool, and he is making a crazy wave right now. He's still releasing music. And then the other one is Darian Saffron, and he is no longer with Strange Music, but he definitely had a solid run with him, with Tech Nine and stuff like that. So to be able to have them on a record was pretty cool.
Okay. So how do you think collaborating can actually help independent artists?
Uh, if it's an artist that can elevate your brand, like if it's an artist that has a bigger fan base than you, greatly. You know what I'm saying? They call it playing the name game. If I go pay Paul Wall for a song and I'm standing next to Paul Wall, not only is it going to help, by the look of everything, so like as far as social media and status, but in the algorithms and Spotify and Apple Music, right? Because when you have a collaboration, your song will get tied into like their playlisting and their other catalog and stuff. So it can definitely bring a lot of traction and business to your brand.
Definitely. So um, do you listen to Afrobeat? Do you like Afrobeat? What can
Um,
you say about Afrobeat?
that's kind of like the club type music, right? The doom, doom,
Yeah.
doom, doom. I think it's definitely pretty cool. I'm a fan of all kinds of music, but I'm not like certainly like super big into it. You know what I mean? But this dude that I went out to LA like when I was 19, and he was because he was kind of into that stuff. You know what I'm saying? He was an old school cat. He must have been like 40, 45, but he was throwing parties like that with Afro beat type music all the time. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like hip hop's version of dubstep, if I'm correct. Would you say that?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Or house music? Maybe it's better to call it hip hop's version of house music.
No, there is house music. There is Afro. This Afro thing. I don't know. House is it's more popular in some kind of in some part of Africa. You understand? Like the house you're talking about, all those funk, all those whatever. They are popular in like South Africa. Some
Yep.
part of Africa actually. But this Afrobeat thing, do you ever come across Whiskey song, Burna Boy?
You're gonna have to
You
put me
don't
on.
like
I didn't do my research, man. I'd be so busy, with work and then my
But definitely after the show, you should go check out Burna Boy song. It's everywhere. Just check him out.
You
I
said
think he
butter
took Burna
butter.
Boy, yeah,
Yeah.
Burna Boy, yeah. I think he took a Grammy recently.
That's huge, man.
He took a
That's big.
yeah, he
And
took a Grammy for I think the world music category. The last Grammy. The guy is from, they do this from Nigeria, he's doing pretty well.
Oh, that's
I
a
think
big.
he did collaboration with, the guy is on this, Justin Bieber's latest project.
Hey.
He actually,
Oh,
Justin Bieber featured him on that project. That guy is huge.
yeah. I didn't know he was from Nigeria originally. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think Sam Smith worked with him as well, on his project.
Wow, Sam Smith.
So these guys are elevating in Afrobeat, and Afrobeat is definitely penetrating. You need to check out that sound.
Yeah, no,
You
no.
can, it's something you can, something you can infuse to your sound, and you can get across to African, music. African music
Culture.
lovers. You understand what I'm saying? If you can do something like that, definitely the
Well,
acceptance around it is going to be
I know the
huge.
culture is really big over there because French Montana did that Unstoppable song. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
everybody was
yeah.
doing
He did a song with Ice Prince from Nigeria. A lot of people are working with Nigerian artists, and they're trying to bring. Yeah. What about Beyonce's last project? What's the name of that project? I've forgotten that name. He worked with a lot of African artists on that project. What about, go listen to Black Skin Girl? I'm just trying to tell you about Afro music.
Yeah, no,
Go check out the song. Check out Brown Skin Girl with Whiskey. It's from Nigeria. That song is huge. I think that song took a Grammy too.
you
I
got
mean, for the best
all
video.
those. You gotta send me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't listen to enough music. Like I literally I'm so stuck in the '90s that I've been listening to the same music over and over. And people, I be pulling out songs from music from 20 years ago that just were one hit wonders. I don't know if you ever heard of what is that? I forget his name, but the song goes, "This is the way I live." I don't know if you're ever familiar with that.
Okay.
It's like a really old school band that was hot for just a few months. But I just remember all those songs from my childhood, and I always go back to those. And then I really like Big L. I don't know if you ever heard of Big L. He was really big in New York
Yeah.
in the '90s and late '80s. And Nas. I still listen to DMX religiously. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Certain
Yeah.
songs I just always gravitate towards. So I do need to learn more music though.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to it. The Afrobeat is, that's the shit right now.
Yeah,
We're getting global.
yeah.
Yeah. So what are the challenges independent artists normally encounter? As an independent artist, what
The
are
big
the challenges? I mean, major challenges.
funding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like a lot of people have this idea where they're just gonna make a song, you know, and then they're just gonna put it out on platforms and it's just gonna take off, and that's not really how it works.
Just gonna start making money.
Yeah, you're gonna want to run ads on your music so that you can really, drive that traffic, create new fans. I mean, the idea, because I think when we look at making a living off music, I think people have this big perspective like, oh, I need to have a million followers and I need to do this and do that, and that's not really the case. You know what I mean? You just need 1,000 people that are going to spend $100 a year with you. You know what I'm saying? Now you're talking about making a living off your music. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, funding.
So let's say funding is the major challenges.
Yeah,
So what about there are some what about management? For example, you have this fund. Let's say you have this VC an investor just come up. Okay, I want to invest in your music. So what if you don't have the proper management, the proper team? You don't see that as a challenge.
No, that's definitely a challenge. Because usually, no, there's two things that can happen when it comes to management. You either you need to be already generating enough money so that you can, so that it's worth the manager's time. So if I'm making, let's say $5,000 a month, I need to at least be bringing that manager, $500 to $1,000 because he's going to want 10 to 20%. But if he already has artists that
Yeah,
are making $20,000 a month, or and he's got 4 or 5 of them that are all cutting them $2,000 or $3,000, the 10 to 20%, then he's not going to need you. Or there's also the really lucky case where you come across somebody that does have the capital, that does have the connections, that may take the time and spend the money and really develop you. There was a guy that did that with Nicki Minaj. You know what I mean? Pretty much held her hand, and same thing with Megan Thee Stallion. Held their hand, spent a lot of money, you know, millions of dollars into them, took them to the superstar that they were, and then got a little bit of a back cut on the end, and then they just walked off on them. You know what I mean? So it's definitely possible that you can run into a manager that will invest into you and really go hard for your movement before it's really big. So, but the odds of that are very, very rare. You know what I mean? I can see why that happened for Megan Thee Stallion or why it happened for Nicki Minaj, but there are so many artists that are in my position looking for the same thing. So I don't really count on that so much. I'm not really worried about having a manager until I can generate him income. But if I get lucky and some mogul's like, hey, I'm gonna bring you under my wing and we're gonna make it happen, I'm with it. But the odds of that,
Definitely. Yeah, like your project is doing very well because I check your YouTube, like the last song, you have already generated about 50,000 over 50,000 streams, and just like other songs, I can see a lot of your project. Like this, Robbie Williams has over 139,000 views on YouTube.
yeah,
That's something.
yep, yeah. I mean,
That's income.
yeah, it is for the most part. Like, you're always gonna end up spending more than than you'll be getting
The
back.
income.
Yeah, and you'll be doing that for quite a while. But I mean, the cool thing is my channel is monetized, and so for like 3 or 4 months, I spent nothing but talking about cryptocurrency. Then I was bringing in $800 checks, $1,000 checks. You know what I'm saying? When I was just talking about content and not spending money on trying to get it out there. Because when you're spending money on trying to get your music out there, obviously it's hard to really get that back. You know what I mean? Because let's say if I spend $500 to reach 20,000 people, the odds of having a really like high conversion rate. So like if I spend $500 to reach 20,000 people, I'm guessing that maybe 5,000 people will actually watch it, and then the goal of that is to hope that maybe 50 to 60 or 70 people subscribe to the YouTube. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just because somebody doesn't mean that they're going to click on it, and if they do click on it, it doesn't mean that they're going to like it. Because the reality is, I mean, there are so many rappers out there. You know what I mean? Why would somebody listen to me before Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas, J. Cole, Lil Baby, Dub Baby? You know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on and on and on and on. But until I get those 1,000 true fans that can really help me build a foundation and really support me like crazy. Like, see, so the next project that I'm working on today is I got these shoes here, right? I got my own shoes. And they're called All Hustles. So my goal is,
How much does that go for? How much is that
I'm selling these for
for the pair?
$60.99 US dollars.
Okay.
Yeah, so $69.99. It's not bad.
Okay,
And
you sell from your website, right?
yep, yeah, I do sell them from my website, and I'm pretty sure actually we do ship internationally as well too. So I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. I need to get one on that. I
All
need to
Hustles.
get one definitely.
That's what my next project is. And one of the best things that you can do is when you're driving traffic to your business, your website, you want to make sure you have products to sell. So the next single that I'm doing is called All Hustle, and it's gonna be like a sports type vibe, like just a boom bap like 90s, style. And it's the whole purpose of the song and the video and me promoting it is to sell the sneakers. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing when you're promoting your music just to promote your music, but if you're using it as like a commercial, the odds of you being able to get a return are going to be a lot greater. You know what I mean? Who do you know that has shoes? Jordan, Yeezy, or should I say Kanye? Who else? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's also a really big thing that, me being independent and having my own shoes, I think that's a big deal. So
Yeah, that's definitely a big deal. So shout out to everybody that joined us for this edition. I think I have about 5 people watching right now. Shout out to Luis Spector. This guy, I have a question for you. He said, do you ever feel discouraged and spending a lot of promotion and not getting much back? That's the question.
yeah, to be honest with you, absolutely. I think believe it or not, in probably the 9 or 10 years that I've been doing this stuff, I've spent 30, 40, $50,000, and I haven't really got the return that I wanted. One, because I spent a lot of money on the wrong stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff that you'll want to do with your career to heighten your brand, and it's not a good idea. It will be a bad investment. Like when somebody says, "Hey, I can get you 2,000 streams on your Spotify for, 200 bucks," and you're thinking like, "Wow, 2,000 streams," but that's not a good idea because 1,500 streams is equivalent to one single sale, which is $1. So you don't want to spend $200 to make $1. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But people will be out here trying to get you like that. And then,
most time people just care about the numbers. They don't really care about the income. They just like,
yeah,
oh, I have 50,000 streams on Spotify, blah blah
yeah,
blah. But at the
yeah.
same time, you're making nothing.
But as far as like, I know in the back of my mind now, like I know that I have a plan and exactly what I'm doing. I think it's really important when you do have like money you're going to spend on ads, you want to have a goal, right? My strategy, I gave you my strategy is what I'm going to, plan to do. I'm also in Detroit right now, and I've been here for the past year. I just got in a major studio out here. And so when I go to run my ads next time, it's only going to be in the Detroit region. And it's going to create that omnipresence, right? Because once you people in Detroit just they keep seeing it over and over and over and over and over and over, then what they're going to do is then they're going to be talking about it so much that it might be in conversation with some of their friends, and their friends might be in Indiana. You know what I'm saying? So then it starts blowing up in another spot. It's really important when you're running ads, just run it in a 40, 50-mile radius first. You know what I mean? Blow up in your little region. Don't try to go national or, international. Don't run the ads to all countries. If I lived in Nigeria, and like let's say if I was a promoter and a rapper, I would pick a show to do I would throw a show, I don't know how much it is. Let's say it's a couple $100 to get in a small decent venue where you can bring people in. Do a 30, 40 mile radius, run ads where you're going to throw that show in, and then throw that flyer in the beginning of your music video. You know what I mean? So that way it makes sense all together. So that way when you go to throw that show, tons of people know about it. And if you're selling $30, $40 a ticket a seat and there's 100 people in there, you're talking about you have the potential to turn $500 into $4,000, $5,000. But yeah, the reality is you're going to end up spending so much money on building your brand before you start seeing a return. You know what I mean? I'm probably going to spend $100,000 just to get those 1,000 true fans, so that I can then try to get them to spend $100 with me, every year. So, how often do I drop songs? Not very often. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to figure out which single is going to be the next single. So, if you really believe in a song or you really want to see how well it does, just spend $300 a month, promoting that song for a whole year. It took I don't know if you're familiar with Jaden Smith. You know Jaden Smith, Wale.
Yeah.
So his parents are Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. It took him 9 or 10 months of spending money on ads just to get his song where he wanted it to go, to where it started making a buzz. You know what I mean? And this is Will Smith's kid. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to have patience with the records. It's not something where you can, unless you have tons of money. If you have $10,000, $20,000, you can just pull out and drop on a song. Then you can release a song every 3 or 4 months. But ideally, you really want to just take one song, and you're going to get sick of it, right? We get so excited to create new music, but from a business standpoint, we have to let that go, especially if we're our own manager. Then we just got to push that song, and that's what I plan to do with this one and with the shoes. I'm going to be pushing it for a whole year. People are going to get sick of it. They're going to be like, man, you've been doing that song for a whole year. And I'm going to say, yeah, but not everybody's heard it yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem, is sometimes we look for the support from, people on Facebook or people on Instagram that we went to high school with, but skip them, and support them. And by now they're not going to. So
Thanks for
yeah, that's my in-depth.
thanks for your time. Actually, like I said, he loved like he just learned so much from you now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody watching. But I'm gonna you're gonna do something for us. You know, you need to drop some bars for us. You know, people are
Drop
listening. When I posted that video, a lot of people sent me DM. I was like, oh, where do you get this guy from? This guy is hot. Stuff like that.
some bars. Okay, I'll spit a little bit of my verse of the last song I did because I'm getting old. I don't really freestyle. You know, back when I was like 19 or 20, I was all hyped up, ready to freestyle all the time, and it's not I practice anymore. And the reason that I don't is because I'm so focused on the business aspect of things and making good records that freestyling doesn't. It's nothing now. But um, I said this bar and I was like, I ain't never had a handout. I stand out, hustle hard and pull bands out. Man, wow. Who's the kid with the juice now? Another rapper with his own shoes now. Rockefeller, yeah, you can see the blueprint. I'm trying to ball, yeah, something like the blue chips. Posted on the blocks, it's like the new kids. I'm on Glory Road, it's like U-Tip. Money rules all, but how you feel now? Because even the Bills, they done got bail out. Another Pistons game. My team keep it G. Another 20-point game from Saban Lee. The same way they be sleeping on the D is the same way they be sleeping on me. They don't know about that Midwest grind. Yo, that work all day, yeah, from 9 to 9. You know?
Nice one, bro. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Um, that was dope. Actually, that was from your last single, right? I mean, the latest one.
It's from the upcoming single. Yep, that's the first verse. Believe.
Okay, okay. Shout out to everybody watching. I think you should drop a love emoji for E.R.The Maker. That was a very hot one right there. I think a lot of people sending the love emoji. Let's see your reaction. Yeah, that's fire. Yeah, just give me the fire and the love emoji. Let's see what's up. Okay, I can see the clap. Shout out to
Everybody.
Shirley Crane. Yeah, shout out to Louis Spector. Shout out to Naj D. That's my boy right there. You know, all the way from Nigeria. You know, he's a very dope artist too.
Appreciate
You know?
it.
Yeah, shout out to Naj D. Shout out to everybody watching. Okay, you already told us your hobbies apart from music, apart from playing basketball, you know, doing the business. What other stuff do you do? You know?
Marketing. I'm really weird about marketing. So the same thing
Yeah, I
means.
know you do graphics, right? You just also a graphic designer.
Yeah, yep. So
I
kind
think
of side
as
hustle
well.
those and do graphics, but I'm at this like age where since I started learning about marketing for music, you know what I mean, and running ads for music, now I'm trying to do it for like affiliate links, you know, like or different products. So if you go on Amazon.com and scroll all the way to the bottom that says make money with Amazon, and literally
Yeah.
there's a way where you can sign up to sell their products and get commission for it. So I've been learning about different products and trying to run ads to generate income that way. You know what I mean? So the same way that you spend money on getting your music to people, it's getting your Amazon affiliate link to people. So like for example, if I was selling Rihanna's got a makeup line, right? So you can get 10%
Yeah.
commission off of that. So the goal is to drive tons of traffic using that link that Amazon gave you, and you get 10% of every sale. Now, the current thing that I'm working on is selling wine, right? I know everybody loves drinking wine. You know what I mean? A lot of people in America do. I don't know if it's super big over in Nigeria or what, but
No, it's big. You know. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's everywhere. You know,
yeah,
but not
everybody,
really wine. Let's say whiskey or something or beer.
yeah, everybody drinks everywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm literally running just 50 cents a day per ad. You know what I'm saying? And I probably spent $20 this month. Um, and I've had 200 people click on the website, and I've had about 600 people see it. So I have like a 25% click through rate, which is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I've sold $600 worth of wine with that 20 bucks. Now the downside of that is I only get 20% of the commission of the $600 sales. So even though that I've spent 20 bucks, I've made about $150 from doing that. So now once I see that that's working, now I take, you know, the current ad spend. So if I'm spending 50 cents a day and after a month I've made 150 bucks, now I want to spend $3 a day so that I can make, you know, so I might spend 60 bucks, but I make 450 bucks. So you just keep scaling that up and up, you know, based on the ratio. So that's what I'm really big in. That and video games. I love video games. I love technology. What else? I was gonna say love playing basketball, but you said besides playing basketball. Other than that, yeah, I like living life. I'm trying to save up for a jet ski right now. So
Yeah, I think I have a question there. You know, someone asked me that, are you planning to work with, you know, any Nigerian musician? I think we were talking about that earlier, which is something I think you should consider doing. You know, I got a question from Ishamo number one. It was like, oh, dude, are you planning to, um, okay, do you have plans to work with Nigerian musicians? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always
Yeah.
looking with others, man. Especially in Nigeria. You know, I know that you guys are really like the foundation of hip hop. Now, I know it may seem crazy, but before we had all this technology, you know what I mean. And I always refer
Yeah.
back to the Unstoppable video with French Montana. You know,
Yeah.
Nigeria
Yeah.
really made that video hot and made that song hot. That's why French Montana came over there. You know what I mean? Because he
Definitely.
knows the way the culture is over there. The way y'all was moving, man, that's crazy. So um, and I think was it Sway Lee that was on that song too. It was one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's fire. You know what I mean? If if that record came out in like the '90s, the early 2000s, we'd still be playing it right now. But the problem is, there's so much content that drops all the time that we can't
Every
even
day,
remember
you know,
the song,
anytime.
longer than a couple of weeks. But that one has lasted for a few years. So Nigeria is definitely a very powerful place to be. So if I had the money, I'd fly over there. We can make it shake, but I don't have uh, income. So if somebody wants to collaborate, definitely reach out to me. And, you know, we can piece up on a marketing campaign and just target Nigeria and try to build you some traction in Nigeria. So definitely.
Yeah. No, you know that reminds me. You know, when we
But
try,
hold on,
I think we try to make a record. Yeah.
you got to sing the hook though, because our collaboration way overdue.
Shout out to Scott Shippey. You know that dude is, you know, that dude is. I think we did a song together around 2014. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like,
Yeah, yeah. You know,
yeah.
we did Ride With Me 2014. I think we
Bro,
have
that
another song together also. It was
so
still unreleased. I think you produced that music, right?
some of it I engineered, like some of it I was
Yeah,
involved with,
yeah,
but I wasn't like I was still so young at the time that I learned a lot from Scott. So Scott was really the one that was kind of
yeah,
and showing me the ropes of everything. And
yeah.
but
But now I think it's more on the business side, you know, doing other stuff, you know.
yeah, he
Um,
owns a salon. He owns a salon and cuts
yeah,
hair.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like cutting hair. I'm just like, man, you know, because Scott is
That
one
did
of
it. I think we made a music together, Born to Do It, and that song is dope. And that song is actually coming up. I'm gonna put that song on my EP, which is dropping soon as well. And you know, that
the
song is fire. You know, I still listen to it and I'm like, oh, this guy is the
bro.
guy is
That's
just odd, you know.
that was such a powerful record. It was like a love song too. I remember that. Super smooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, if
Right.
I
Duh.
if there's any artist that want to collaborate with Nigeria, I only ask one thing: Day Wale has to be on the hook. Because me and Day Wale, bro, we've been talking about making a record for years, but I don't know why it's never happened, but it needs to happen.
Yeah,
And probably,
right. I think it's the time now. You know, that time it was, you know, a lot of challenges, studio, all that. But now, you know, you have the studio, we have everything, we have what it takes.
yeah,
We're definitely gonna make it happen, you know.
yeah,
It's gonna
and I
happen for
have
real.
a whole studio now. It's just like during the time when we were trying to do that, like I was not in a good position of life. I was moving couch to couch. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a license. Didn't have a car. You know what I'm saying? Like when you first start getting into music, you think that you can really make something happen with no budget, no place to live. You know, that's that mentality of, oh, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and get $1 million, and that's how I used to see it. You know what I mean? I seen it like that for the first
Yeah.
5 or 6 years. So when you're asking me to collaborate, I'm like, man, I don't even know where I'm gonna sleep tomorrow night.
uh, so um okay, you already told us how artists can, you know, probably, you know, actually make revenue from their music. And you know, this interview is more like a business masterclass now, but I can see a lot of people are learning from this show right now. I'm very sure that people are learning from this stuff because you've shared ways which artists can actually generate revenues. You know, I think people should be learning right now because you already showed us, okay, fine, as an artist, you just have to have your own product, which you're selling. I
Yeah.
can remember this point. Yeah, when you're doing your marketing, you have to market to people around you first. That's
Yeah.
one thing which I'm
Well,
picking from your point. And um, you just have to. One thing is you said something earlier about this French Montana song, a drop, and the way people are dropping content every day. So I think this question is still similar to what that guy asked the other time, which with the way contents are dropping every day. Do you think as an artist you need to be dropping content like that as well? Let's say you drop a content January,
yeah.
and a lot of songs are coming up every day. When you don't, I notice when you don't drop song, people seem to forget you. They be like, oh, new song, another guy is hot. They just forget about your stuff and all that. So do you think as an artist, you just have to drop song, consistently, or you just have to chill and just wait,
Um,
or just have to keep dropping?
I'm gonna say no. I know that we see everybody else doing that. um, the only person that I know that's like really doing that and it's really working for them is Russ. I don't know if you ever heard of Russ. He's a pretty big artist here in the U.S. and but
Okay.
that's how his foundation was built. Now that doesn't work for everybody. The reality is I've tried that. I went to I made like 40 songs in 40 days straight, and had them all planned out on Spotify because you do want to submit your songs. Um, I don't know if you use DistroKid or whatever aggregator you guys have over there, but you always want to submit your
Yeah,
songs.
yeah, we use this Pro Kid as well. We use TuneCore. We use
Okay,
a lot of platforms. Yeah.
it's all the same. So you literally want to,
Same, yeah.
yeah. So you literally want to take this. You want to take that song and submit it 6 weeks in advance. And the reason you want to do that, then you want to submit it to Spotify playlisting. And that's going to help you get in the algorithm so that you can get your song seen. So it is okay if that you want to do that, but I would spread out the songs 6 weeks apart. So like let's say if I was going to release a song, I would release that song. I would like if I had 10 songs that I wanted to release back to back to back, I would submit all of them right now, but I would submit one 6 weeks out, one 12 weeks out, one 18 weeks out, one 24 weeks out, and so forth and so forth. So it's not really good to release music that fast because a lot of people haven't even grasped to your other records. So now you have all these songs that you haven't really promoted or pushed or gave any time doing so, and they all have 100 views or 200 views, which is great, but you're spreading yourself thin because now you might get one new follower here, one new follower there, rather than just taking a real. He said, "Nice math." He's like, "You, yeah, it's not bad." You know what I'm saying? But so it's better to take one record and really push it and push it and push it and push it. Another great example of that was not just Jaden Smith, but what is his name? Fetty Wap, right? Fetty Wap
Okay.
had that record, Trap Queen. I'm a trap queen and I hit the bando. That's how he sounds to me. But he pushed that record for 15 months. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about he probably spent $300, $400 on YouTube ads for 15 months, but only in the New Jersey and New York vicinity, right? Then once it started making that kind of wave, while it was doing that on the internet, he was still in the clubs. Like, play my record, play my record. He was going up and knocking on the radio station's door, like, play my record. I got 500,000 views. So eventually all the effort he did in promoting his song, not just on the internet, but in the physical aspects of things too, it ended up working out for him. So find that one record or just decide. You know what I mean? The reality is people are going to like music. People are always looking for something new to gravitate to. Young Thug. I always reference Young Thug. Young Thug is not the greatest artist. He's terrible, in my opinion. However, he's pushed records for so long to where they've gotten millions of views. A lot of people don't even care if you're the best. If they see you have 1 million views, what that does to their perception, it's illusion. They're like, wow, he's got to be big. You know what I mean? So they gravitate. They're like, oh, nobody knows about him yet. Like a lot of people like having that exclusive music, like Hopsin. I remember hearing Hopsin before anybody else did when he had 200,000 views on his records because he was running Google ads. And I clicked on it and I was like, this is dope. You know what I mean? Then I started sharing it on Facebook, to my friends. And a year and a half later, you know, he's starting to blow up. So it really takes time with those records. It doesn't have to be your best record ever. It just has to be decent. You know what I mean? You're your biggest critic. If you can bob your head to it, so can other people. But you really have to spend time with it. Get a good visual and run that ad in that vicinity, because that's what's important. That's going to help you make the return, is the shows, right? That's what people want to party. You know what I'm saying? So do it just in that vicinity of that venue that you're going to throw it at. And you can keep throwing shows at that venue. But once you have that fan base within that 40-mile radius, right, they're always going to keep coming to the show because they fuck with you. So if you have that 1,000 people in a 50-mile radius in Nigeria, and you can get them in the club and they pay $30 a ticket, and it's 1,000 capacity, you do the math. 30 times 1,000 is 30,000, right? Then you take that money, you go release your next record and push it in that same vicinity again. Just keep doing it over and over again until you create enough capital for yourself. Then you can move to another, maybe somewhere else that's 100 miles away and do the same thing, right? And then once you start doing it 100 miles away, now you have another 1,000 people. Then do it a little bit farther away, right? And you just keep doing it out, and out, and out. But a lot of people have this idea where they're just going to put a record out and promote it to everybody in the world, which doesn't help, because then you got 10 people here, 5 people, you know, way over there, 2 people way over there. And a lot of the time they don't even live by you. So when you go to throw that show, they can't even show up. So it has to make sense. And the sucky thing is, a lot of the time is you're going to have to spend more. It's going to cost more per view, right? Like pay-per-click ad is what usually what you run. So it could cost you 6 or 7 cents. So you may not get as much views, but it's so much more important to have the omnipresence. You know what I mean? You want to be everywhere at once. And you can't do that when you're running ads to everybody in the entire world. So just start with a vicinity.
Yeah, definitely. So to everybody watching, you know, this I think this is more, you know, this educative, and you know, you should learn something from the conversation. So have you ever run into any trouble while you're making music? You know, like a big
trouble? Oh yeah. You know what I mean? I've spent so many times trying to get away from it. You know, in my home city that I grew up in Grand Rapids, the local music scene there is nothing but drug selling, you know, people shooting each other, all kinds of crazy stuff. And so you see that everywhere, and it's nothing that I've really been a part of. But when I was 19, I went out to LA, Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying? In Los Angeles, they have these little different subdivisions. You know, they got Compton, they got Watts, they got Carson, you know, West Hollywood, they got Long Beach, and all these different places. And I was so hungry at that time to move out to LA, right? That's where all the big movie stars and Hollywood is. You're like, oh, I want to go out to LA. And I went out to LA, and I'm staying in Watts. Now, Watts, California is where Kendrick Lamar grew up in. This is where, you know, it's same vicinity where Nipsey Hussle grew up in. Nothing but gang culture. And I remember we used to street perform. I had this buddy named Julian Baller. Shout out to him, man. And we lived in Watts together, but we would go ride the trains and go to, you know, Hollywood and Venice Beach and street perform during the day just to make $100 a day, get a little bite to eat, and head back home. Well, we were being followed, and I didn't know that until I felt it the whole time. You know, I'm usually pretty intuitive. And one night we were on an elevator. It was really late. You know what I'm saying? Watts is so bad you should not be out when it's dark. No cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so bad, man. But so we're going up this elevator, we're on this train, and I've seen this lady in the train station a few times. And I'm starting to notice I see her every time we're on our way home, right? And literally, she's in the elevator. I'm like, man, why do I keep seeing her? But this time she had a wig on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, that wig looks terrible. Like, if you're gonna hide in disguise, you better get a better wig. But either way, so we got off the elevator, and this is like Imperial Highway. It's like 118th in South Main Street, like a really bad area. But we're getting off the elevator after getting off the train. You know, the train stations are really big there. So when you get off the train, you got to take elevators to get down to the main ground so you can walk. As soon as we get out of the elevator, she starts walking. You know what I'm saying? But she's walking kind of frantically. And so I start walking a little bit closer behind her just to see how she would react. And then she just starts booking it. And I'm like, uh-oh, something's not right, man. I was like, I told you we were being followed. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, man, you're just tripping, bro. It's probably some tweaker, you know, some drug addict. And then so I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. So we start walking, and we're going into this place called Jack in the Box. And Jack in the Box is like, it's like a knockoff Taco Bell. It's like cheaper than Taco Bell. You're talking about like, you can get like 3 tacos for $1. You know what I'm saying? Like the worst taco you could probably ever eat. But so we're about to go into the store, and all of a sudden, I'm not sure if it's Norteños or it's like a gang that's attached to Mexican mob. They're it's a Hispanic gang. They wear blue, a lot of blue, and I think it's Norteños. Yeah. So because that's right where we were. We were in the middle of Mexican territory, Crip territory, and all of a sudden these dudes pull up. One of them's like probably double our age. The other kids are a little bit older than us, and this dude's like, "Hey, homie." I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Here we go." I'm like, "Not the bullshit." And he was like, "Hey, homie." He was like, "Where you get that speaker from?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." And I'm like, "We got it from Guitar Center, man." And he was like, "How much you want for it?" And I was like, "Not for sale." You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "No, how much you want for it?" I was like, "Look, man, I'm from Michigan." I was like, I don't bang none of that stuff, man. I'm just out here trying to make music. I was like, if you want one of these, I was like, you got to go get your own. All of a sudden, he hops in the car. He grabs something from like under a steering wheel. Yeah, bro. I'm like, this is. So I'm really tripping. It's worse. So it looks like he grabs a piece or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, hops back out. He's like, "So what's up?" I'm like, "Look, man, I'm going inside." So I just try to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? We go inside. When we get inside, Wale, I look around. There ain't nothing but Spanish motherfuckers. And the reality is those gangs are so big out there that they own restaurants, they own territories, they own blocks. So I'm like, shit. Wow. I'm like, we're in their restaurant right now. And my homie Julian, he's black, and I'm white, and we're in the middle of a Mexican gang territory. I'm like, this is gonna be bad, bro. I was like, they're gonna flip the cameras around, they're gonna kill us, and they're just gonna mop us up and throw us out of back. Watch. You know what I mean? So I'm tripping at this time, and it was a couple situations that I've been in like that have just been really scary. But thank God, we were able to walk home that night, and it ended up being okay because we stayed in there, and those dudes stayed in there for about an hour and a half. But we didn't leave that building because I wasn't about to leave that building because I know what happens as soon as I walked out. You know what I'm saying? And what they wanted us to do is, like when you're not in a gang, you start moving like through gang territory and you're making money, they want a percentage. That's a definitely. Asking.
Want the cuts.
Yeah, he wanted me to pay the pass, and I'm like, I'm not paying that, man.
Let's see. It's fun hanging out with you, and we're going to be wrapping up very soon. And so, what should we be expecting from you soon after this project?
Just be a little patient with me. Like I said, I got the new project I'm working on. I still got to get some film. I'm shooting film Sunday for the record, but it's probably not going to be released probably for a couple of months yet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's got to be perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go to your website and get one of those shoes.
Yeah. Let me check.
Hopefully, it means to deliver to Nigeria. Yeah.
Huh? Let me check to make sure that we ship to Nigeria. I'm pretty sure we do, but I just want to double check before you do. But yeah, but so
the people that want to just tell them your website and your other stuff so they can follow you up, get your content and all that.
I'll put it in here real quick. But yeah, literally everything is E.R.The Maker. The same way you see my the @ E.R.The Maker. It's like that on Twitter. It's like that on Instagram. It's like that everywhere. Okay.
For
cameos.
Join me on this one.
So I'm working on Wale. I got to get people that are bigger brand into my videos. So that's what I'm currently working on. A TikToker, His name is Renegade. He's got like 150,000 followers on TikTok, and he's gonna hop in the video Sunday. He's gonna come do a cameo, which is pretty cool. I reached out to the mayor of Detroit. You know what I mean? I've reached out to some former Pistons players, some current Pistons players, and then I'm trying to also get a couple of bigger rappers from Detroit as well in the video. So it's going to take a couple of months because it's going to probably cost me, you know, $400, $500 just to get all these different, you know, influencers in my video. So
Yeah, that's awesome, you know.
yeah.
So what are your expectations? Let's see, 2 years from now, where do you see E.R.The Maker? Let's say 2 years from now. What are your expectations for the next 2 years?
2 years from now, I should be buzzing, right? Because like that plan that I told you about where I said I'm going to, you know, push that record for a whole year and do it just in that 40, 50 mile radius. And I'm going to be selling these shoes. Give me about a year and a half with it. And you'll be like, wow, this is taking off. You know what I mean? The only reason that's going to happen is because of the plan. It all goes back to omnipresence. I always think of, you know, God or Jah or whoever you believe in, or Allah. You know, no matter who you believe in, at the end of the day, omnipresence is so important. So if you're ever going to run ads and you want to see return, blow up in that little vicinity first. Let those people talk about you and talk about you and talk about you until they don't forget you. Then move on to the next area. So that's what I'm doing here in Detroit.
And it's making sense, yeah. We're gonna be wrapping up very soon, and I appreciate you for joining me on this one. Shout out to everybody that joined. You know, Paul Fosson, so much people, you know, I really appreciate you for joining me on this one, and it's getting better, you know, every day. You know, we started this thing a few weeks back, and you know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people is be supporting, and you know, it's making sense. You know, it feels good when you know you're doing something and people are really, you know, responding to it. So I really appreciate you guys for joining me, and you know, I always come back every Saturday to give you a very special guest. You know, today we have E.R.The Maker in the building, and you know, it's fun hanging out with you. You know, just make sure you go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to Tidal, everywhere, YouTube, download and stream his music. You know, that's dude is hot. You should know. Yeah, because it's hot.
Yeah, and then
So and also, okay, I think your website is there now. E.R.TheMaker.com. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Wale, if anybody wants to reach out to me, they just want some advice on marketing or help coming up with a plan, or they want to collaborate, whatever, that's more than fine. You know what I'm saying? For free. I like to help.
Yeah, you can reach out to him. Just make sure you follow him, you know. And if you're watching from his own side, make sure you follow me as well, you know. Let's vibe, you understand? Just make sure you follow him and all that. So one last word before we wrap up the show. What message do you have to your fans, you know, and your new fans? Let's say just make some more fans now. So what message do you have before we wrap up?
Keep hustling, don't stop, and have a strategy for everything. All hustle. That's that.
Yeah, definitely. Nice having you here at the Maker. And shout out to Ultra on the Hook. Told him I send my shout out. I'm not sure he's watching right now, you know. And to Scott Shippy and everybody over there, you know.
You know.
Have you guys. Yeah, thanks for always responding to my invitation and all that. You know, I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Same.
Hopefully, in the nearest future, I would like to, you know, bring you up again, and we're definitely going to work on our song. You know, I'm going to send you hook or beat or something. Let's work.
Yeah,
let's do some vibe. You know.
Yep. And then I was going to say, yeah, man. Next time, probably about a week or 2 weeks after I release this this music video, this next project, man, we'll have to link back up. But I definitely appreciate.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate everybody rocking with me. Let's link. Let's network. Any kind of advice that I can give out, I'm more so.
Yeah, thanks so much, bro. Yeah, and I'll see you on the other one. I see you on the other side, bro.
Sounds
Thank you so much. Thank you, man.
Same.
So
Go ahead.
I'm gonna sign out now, and thanks to everybody that joined me. Just last week I said I'm gonna give away this new banger t-shirt, you know. So if you've been active and all that, just send me your address in the VAR DM, and I'm gonna look at your comments, see the participation, I'm gonna give out the t-shirt.
Let's go.
Just tell me your color and your price and everything, your color, your size and everything. I'm gonna do that. So shout out. We're gonna be wrapping up with E.R.The Maker now, and I'll see you next week.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, peace out. Yeah, man.